Something you have to ask yourself is, what kind of person would do something like this? Like, did she suffer from mental illness just because she felt like it, or just because she wanted revenge? This is 50-year-old Mary Johnson, and her family lived in Oklahoma, where they lived most of their lives as they raised their son up. And throughout the time, they seemed like they was having a great old time, where they spent Christmases and birthdays and everything else as a family. However, there were also bad times that actually happened too, where it seemed like Mary may have suffered from a mental illness because she was taking certain medications, and at times when she didn't take her medication, sometimes it got kind of violent in the household. It got so bad that their son, 11-year-old Bruce Johnson Jr., had to actually sleep with a baseball bat in his bed just in case his mom ever buzzed into his room. Because when she had her episode, she would claim that she was God and that she was trying to ascend her children. Even her husband, Bruce Johnson Sr., was also afraid at times just because there were times he would wake up in the middle of the night and she would either stand on his chest or jumping on it, saying that she's trying to cause him a heart attack. And it got so bad to a point that Bruce Sr. actually decided to just pack him and his son up and move to a different location. They ended up moving to Hobbs, New Mexico, which sits on the border between New Mexico and Texas. And here, him and his son decided like this would be the perfect place for them to start over, start fresh, get a new life and everything, all without their mom being there with her back and forth between taking her medication and not taking her medication. And throughout the time they were living in Hobbs, Mary would call them on a daily basis, saying that she wanted her family back, she wanted to see her kids, she wanted to be around them. And it got to a point where Bruce got around to where he just went ahead and gave in and said, go ahead and come down and visit. And with Mary being all excited, being able to see her kids again, she flew down to Hobbs, New Mexico just so she can be around them. And Bruce actually allowed her to stay in the household that they lived in. And on July 10th of 2022, that's when everything changed that day. So in a statement made by Bruce about that night, on July 10th of 2022 around 10:30 p.m., everybody went to bed that day, and around 1 a.m. he woke up, he heard his son screaming, and so he went to go check on him, and he saw the one thing that every father does not want to see. So when Bruce Sr. walked into his son's room, he actually saw that his son was laying face down on the bed with a knife in his back. And Bruce, he started panicking, trying to figure out what happened, what went on, and so he ran and called for Mary, saying call 911. And that's when he found Mary in the next room with stab wounds to her chest. So police and paramedics showed up at the residence, had loaded them all up and took them all straight to the hospital. And during the same time, police trying to do the investigation, trying to figure out what actually went on in the house. Because at this point, police just assumed that it was a robbery gone wrong. When everybody arrived at the hospital, they actually found out the extent of Bruce Jr.'s injuries, where he actually had wounds to his chest, arms, and also his back as well too. So the doctors came along, tried to work on him, and during the time period he was actually still awake and conscious during that time period, where he actually told investigators that it was his mom that did this to him. So when police heard about this, they were stunned because they realized like, the mom is just over the next room with the exact same injuries as you have. It's like, how could this possibly be? And so when they talked to the doctors, they actually found out that her wounds are actually self-inflicted. So police trying to figure out why would she do something like this, in which hospital staff actually approached him and said that Mary made a comment saying that the reason why she stabbed her own son was because if she couldn't have him, then nobody can have him. Once Mary recovered from her injuries, she was arrested and sent to jail without bond, as well as the fact that her son did not make it that night because he passed away shortly a couple hours after the incident occurred. Mary was charged with first-degree murder, but it was bumped down during her trial down to second degree, where she has to do 20 years in prison.